Out front next, jailed for telling the truth. A top Putin critic now sentenced to 25 years in prison for criticizing Putin's war. A person who has already survived 2 poisoning attempts. Vladimir Kara-Murza's attorney and longtime friend is out front. Plus, outrage tonight, a grand jury in Ohio deciding not to charge 8 officers who shot a black man nearly 4 dozen times after a chase. Police say they thought he was armed. And payback from DeSantis, the governor threatening to build a competing theme park or even a state prison right next to Disney. Let's go out front. And good evening, I'm Erin Burnett. Out front tonight, 25 years in prison just for taking on Putin. That is the shocking sentence handed down to Putin opposition leader Vladimir Kara-Murza. Kara-Murza's formal crime is criticizing Putin's war in Ukraine, which of course he did and did so bravely, just like he did on this show a year ago. Putin has a pattern here, as you know. He falsely accused the U.S. of developing bioweapons in Georgia as he invaded there. Vladimir, do you think that he is going to launch a chemical or a biological attack in Ukraine at this point?
There are absolutely no limits to what Vladimir Putin can do. I think the world is seeing this loud and clear now as we're witnessing this large-scale land war, this large-scale war crime happening right at the heart of Europe.
32 days after that interview, Kara-Murza was arrested. He went back to Russia and he was arrested. This is someone who had survived 2 alleged poisonings already. And according to his wife, Yevgenia, the 41-year-old is now suffering from nerve damage because of these attacks. His lawyer tells us that Kara-Murza can't survive this sentence. And I'm going to speak to his lawyer and his longtime friend in just a moment. Because Kara-Murza went back to Russia because he was not afraid to tell the truth about the war at whatever cost. And tonight we are learning more about those horrific truths. Here's a Russian fighter with the Wagner Group speaking to a human rights organization targeting corruption and torture in Russia. Listen for yourself.
I don't want this war. You see this cigarette in my hand? With this hand, by command, I killed children. You understand? It was an order. We were given the command to advance and kill everything in our path and set up our defense in the area. Do whatever it takes. And we went and killed everyone. There were women, men, kids, elderly folks, male and female, and kids. Now there's a little child dead, 5 or 6 years old, and I shot her.
It's impossible to let those words sink in, any of them. You hear them, I shot her, I killed children. And while a man who spoke against Putin's war tonight, who spoke out against that, is facing 25 years in prison, there are still some who are willing to even now speak out. The frontman of a popular Russian punk band just spoke out in Moscow in support of Masha Moskalov. Now, we've been following Masha's story. You may remember her. She's 13 years old, the girl who was sent to an orphanage after drawing a picture of the Ukrainian flag at school. Her father was then sentenced to 2 years in a penal colony because of that and anti-war online posts. And that rock star this weekend spoke out on stage, saying even now, at this point, he can no longer stay silent.
This Masha Moskalyova case somehow just won't let me go. Maybe because my daughter is the same age as her. She is 14 and Masha is 13. Friends, I want to urge you, Google this case. Find out what happened there and feel horrified at what happened to Masha and her family for a drawing that she made in her art class.
I'm playing here so you can hear the noises. What they're chanting there, the crowd in Russian, is F the war. That's their response.